I can be your hero, baby. What up? AOA podcast back for another episode. It's your old pal Ant. We're here. We're doing the thing. Smidge late on the live. Apologies for that. They're trying to kick me off of Facebook. I don't know what happened. Came in and I got a whole Facebook. I'm the enemy of the people on Facebook. I don't know. I had to record myself in a video. I felt like a hostage just a second ago. It was the craziest stuff ever. They're trying to keep us down, but they can't do it. We got a lot of stuff to discuss here, and we are going to discuss it. Damn it! How about that for a defiant statement? Epstein's little black book is going up for auction. Crazy story. By the way, this is the Wednesday craziness. I don't know what happens, but almost every topic on here is unbelievable, insane, crazy. However you want to describe it. We got it. This is it. Epstein's little black book going up for auction. Actually going up for auction. Harrison Butker gave a commencement speech of all time. I mean, of all time. It's crazy. We'll share with you his sentiments, some of his thoughts. Cuckoo. There's a professor who was given a terminal cancer diagnosis, now says cured. Dunsky, no more cancer. Share that. That's actually that's the only, let me just go over this list here. That and the NFL going to Netflix are basically the only uplifting stories that we have on the episode. This Sammy Toish story, apologies if I'm mispronouncing that name, this poor little boy from Indiana who took his own life. We have to share this story. It's just so heartbreaking. I hate talking about stuff like this, but it's a big story nonetheless. We got to bring it up. Eric Adams has a great suggestion for trying to fill the lifeguard void that we have here in New York. Valentina Gomez, excuse me. If you don't know who Valentina Gomez is, you will. She's running for office. Another person that is just saying the craziest, most unbelievable stuff. Things that used to get canceled for. Now, not so much. It's weird. I never thought I would be so anti-canceling, but at the same time, now be shocked for what people are saying. Seems hypocritical. And the portal crashing OnlyFans model is cashing in. She is raking in the dough. We are raking in the episodes, and let's get this one started now. We're flying solo here on this episode, but I do see the wonderful, the talented, the writer, novelist, if you will, Erin C. in the chat. Hope we can get her on. J-Sabs had teased a little Disney vacation recap. Hope we can get her on. Cuddles is dealing with a lot of stuff. She's got a lot of things going on with the kids today. So I don't know if we'll get her on, but we're here. I'm here. You're here. That would be the definition of we. That's all that matters. TD, Miss Justice, Bird. Oh my goodness, look at everybody here. Will, Zoso, Mercury, Paul, my man. Paul lightened me up on Twitter the last day or so. I love when Paul does that. Robin, Oceani is here. Oh my God, the cancer guy is Australian. Crazy stuff happened over there in Australia. All right, Jeffrey Epstein and the little black book. Boy, this is something that you wouldn't expect coming. I didn't even realize that this was a whole thing when I woke up this morning, but here we go nonetheless. So we all know the crazy little black book from Jeffrey Epstein that was first published in Gawker back in 2015. That sort of, got the storm rolling here. That is not this. This little black book, believe it or not, was found on the streets of New York City back in the 90s, before anybody knew who Jeffrey Epstein was. A young gentleman was walking along the street. His name was Chris Halali. I'm sorry, not Chris Halali. Chris Halali comes later on the story. A person was walking on the street, doesn't matter who it was, and found this little book on the floor. Starts leafing through the book and starts seeing some pretty big names in the book, right? Sees Robert F. Kennedy in the book. Couple other celebrities, maybe not the big ones that we got in the much later version of the Epstein Black Book, but nonetheless, Robert Kennedy Jr., Christina Grieven, who's Chris Cuomo's wife, Morgan Fairchild, Carl Icahn. There's some pretty big names in there. So this person goes, I'm going to hold on to this. This seems pretty important. I don't know whose Black Book this is, but this is a lot of big names in here. Let me see what happens. And then over the course of time, they're able to connect the dots as the whole Epstein thing blows up that, oh, this is Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book. So this person put it up on eBay, and Chris Halali, who is a reporter, was investigating Epstein, going through the whole thing, bought it off of eBay back in 2020 for $425. Now Chris Halali decides, I don't want to hold on to this. It's probably bad karma. I'm going to put it up for auction, and does so. Sotheby's, Christie's, they all pass on it. Obviously, they believe it's in poor taste. And that wasn't poor enough for Alexander's. They're the ones who are going to put this thing up for auction. They're doing it in quite a weird way. They're going to be accepting bids via like email and notes, and people can like send in their bids, and then they're going to contact the top two bidders and let them go at it to see who wants to purchase the book. With all the secrecy and everything else, some experts are saying that this thing could go for $200,000 or more. I don't know who on God's green earth would purchase a thing like this, but it's not the first time some crazy shit has been bought. You know what I mean? Like, people buy weird shit on these things all the time. So I'm not entirely sure, who's going to be the person. But I get what's weird is this Chris Halali's like, I don't want this thing in my house. Kind of like, this thing might be haunted, but I'll take the money. I'll take the profits from it. And I don't want to like shift blame here because Epstein's the piece of shit. This Chris Halali is probably not. But what do you do with a book like this? Like, what really? I wouldn't even know what to do with it if I had it in my possession. I guess I would get rid of it. Do you just throw it in the garbage? Does it belong to anybody? Should people be paying $200,000 for it? I don't really know. Now, listen, I would love to be stumbling upon some sort of artifact and be like, oh, I turned $450 into $200,000. That's a fucking major payday. It's a big time win. But I don't know. I would feel really, do you give the money to the victims? Well, most of the victims have gotten paid, they've made, they've gotten their money. So 200,000 divided by the amount of victims it's going to come up to nothing. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. I guess maybe it'd be nice if they donated it to some sort of a, charity that helps victims, in these particular cases. That would be nice. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, but I find it funny that Christie's and, some of these big auction houses passed on it, and here's Sotheby's passed on it, and here's Alexander's, and they're like, we'll take it. We have no heart and soul. We'll sell that for you. It's no big deal. So they're doing this private bidding, which is open from now until June 15th. And if it doesn't sell there, then they're going to bring it to a public auction in July. All they said was, that, the money's going to go to this Chris Halali, but they were just very big on saying it's not going to go to the Epstein estate at all. And Chris Halali is an independent reporter. He was researching the Epstein case. He wound up buying it, and he shared some of the contents with other reporters. So, like, again, I have a hard time being mad at this guy. He was on the case to help. He was there to unlock some of this information and spread awareness and get the word out and get to the bottom of it and find out who else was behind it. I can't exactly get mad at him, but it's weird. Jackie with a good point. Should be in a crime museum. I guess so. Do we have crime museums? I guess. Like, oh, let's go to the crime museum and see, There's something weird about stuff like this where if it happened in the past, right? Like we'd all go see Al Capone's house or, we'd all go on like little tours and do those kinds of things. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that if you're in like a history sort of an era, but something that is so present feels a little awkward and uncomfortable. Does it not? By the way, we're putting the link for today's episode on Facebook right now because, again, they're trying to ban us. We couldn't go live on the Facebooks. I don't know what the hell's going on. But, they're trying to keep us down is all I know. They're just trying to keep us all down. Did it go up? I don't know. We're checking on it. Trying to put the YouTube on the Facebook because we got a lot of people on the Facebooks. We got a lot of followers. There's lots of people over there that want to know what we're doing, and now they can't because I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Apparently, we talked about too many things. You know what I'm saying? Perhaps all the Boeing talk is finally coming back to catch us. Oh, I don't even know what's going on here. I'll tell you what, at some point, technology just flew right past me. Anybody else feel that way? I had a big handle on it. We were doing just fine. Everything was working. And then you wake up one day and then nothingness. Just absolute nothingness. They try and change things too much. You know what I'm saying? They try and change it all too much. Let's see here. Let's put that like that. Let's see. There you go. Okay. All right. Now we're on the Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, go ahead and share that link around to everybody because I'm sure it's going to get shot down as most YouTube links do on Facebook. Thanks, Fly NY. All alien tech. Yeah. I mean, it's just too much. Hey, would you blow me? Says J Sab's going to bid on it. Knows that that book is full of people down to fuck. Geraldo opening this. Yeah, I don't know. We do have a weird, and thank you, Christine. Al Capone is different than Epstein. Yeah, true. Still weird though. We do have a weird obsession with crime. Is this weird too? Like Capone, like somebody who murdered people, that kind of thing. That's almost a weird. I don't know. There seems like an acceptance to that. This doesn't feel good at all. But hey, whatever. They want to buy it. If they're going to make money off it, so be it. We'll keep track of it. We'll see how much it goes for. $200,000 though. Jesus. I mean, Lord. Think about all the better things you could do with $200,000 than owning this. And that's the other weird thing. Like, who wants to own this? I feel like this stuff is like haunted. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this stuff is not anything you want to have in your possession. I would just feel I wouldn't want any part of this. Honestly, if I was Chris Halal, I'd feel so weird about it. I'd light the fucking thing on fire and just walk away from it. That would be the end of it. Jack the Off is eating his Palestinian chicken right now. It sounds delicious. Big chicken. Big. Kudos, by the way, to Convict Donald or Convict Donald. I always screw that name up on TikTok. But he we were talking about Larry David's Palestinian chicken episode on the last podcast episode, and he cut the whole thing together and put it out on TikTok. I think it's on Twitter too, but go to our TikTok, which you could find at anthonyonair.com. The link is right there. And we reposted it. He just did a tremendous job cutting that whole thing together. Just really good work. Really, really good work. Jackie agrees. Bad juju, bad energy. Yeah, I wouldn't want that shit in my house. No friggin' way. No way. I am far too superstitious for that. Far too superstitious. All right, let's go talk about this Harrison Butker. This guy. I wish Frank was here for this episode. I really, really do. We can't hold a topic like this, but I feel like Frank would be so good at this because I am constantly dumping on Frank for supporting cancel culture, which I am not a fan of. And I believe we're going to be in a better place when we stop doing that kind of shit. At the same token, a part of me feels like, ooh, when you speak with no consequence whatsoever. I mean, it's a little crazy. And again, I'm not really for people losing their jobs and their livelihoods. But I watched Harrison Butker's commencement address, which he gave at Benedictine College. And it's fucking terrifying, man. It's scary as shit. This dude, and let me tell you, I mean, look, I don't know. Everybody's got a different perspective on the world, right? But I grew up Roman Catholic, right? A Christian all my life. I literally went to Catholic school my entire life. My grammar school was a Catholic school. My high school was a Catholic school. And usually most people wind up going to whatever college or university. Boom, your old pal aunt goes to a Catholic university. There's not a lot of Catholic universities. And I found one and went to it. Not for the religious thing. But the reason why I bring this up to you is I have been fully indoctrinated in the life of Jesus Christ. Very familiar with the whole thing. Had to take religious courses in St. John's University, by the way. That was a requirement. So, like I said, I continued theology all the way up until I was, when do you graduate college? In your 20s? I was 29 by the time I graduated college. Mind your business, okay? It took me a while. Anyway, point is this. I'm very, very familiar, but I bring it up because I'm very cautious. I get very weary when people get too involved in Christianity and the Catholic Church. You know, if you're a Catholic, if you're Jewish, if you're Muslim, I don't give a shit what you are. I don't care what magical force, person, triumphant you believe in. You know, whether it's a Holy Spirit or a fat guy, you know, sitting Indian style, praying, whatever the fuck, I don't give a shit. It's fine. I made my peace with the religion a long time ago, and I made one simple determination that I believe everybody should at some point in your life. It's just be fucking nice to each other. Just be fucking nice. Ain't that big of a deal. Just be nice. And I can't even take credit for that. A lot of people said it, and there's one person who said it a lot. What was his name? Oh yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, he was very big on the just be fucking nice to people. Now, he didn't use the F word. I spoke a different language back then. But I believe if Jesus were around today, he'd pop it out there. Would you cut your shit and just be fucking, can you just please just fucking chill a little bit? Just fucking, let's chill. That's what most religions come down to. It's kind of most, not all, most come down to just trying. Let's just a bit, just try and be nice. Be nice. Just be a little nice. Flying Y, even Scientology. I don't know if that's a question or not. I'm not entirely sure if Scientology preaches niceness. I know they got a weird alien just drop some shit off theory, and even that, whatever, fine, whatever. If you pray to Tom Cruise, I don't mind. Just be nice to people. Just go, oh, that's a person over there. Let's be nice to them. You know what I'm saying? It ain't hard. It ain't hard. It's really not that hard. If you look over the history of humanity, it feels a little difficult. Feels like we need some of those reminders. But really, it's not hard. But this fucking guy, this Harrison Butker, he brings out everything I hate about my own religion. This wild ideology of we have to live this rigid, certain way, and taking Christianity and Catholicism and bringing it to this utter extreme where there's no exceptions to any rules and there's no logic, or there's no, it's just this awful, rigid, just horrible way of living. And this Harrison Butker got up there and he spewed some of the worst parts of Catholicism for 20 minutes. And he got raucous applause. I mean, really was applauded. applauded. Here you go, Robin. See, Robin could be in my religion. Rule number 1, don't be a dick. That's it. Don't be a dick. You know, hey, would you blow me? Chiming in with rule number 2. Rule number 2, don't be a dick. I really feel like we're getting somewhere with Robin and Haywood right now. I'm going to go ahead and call you guys, I don't know, saints, apostles, whatever you want to be. You're going to be an important part of the church that we're starting, podcast church. Rule number 1, don't be a dick. Rule number 2, don't be a dick. And then we'll just have a screenshot of Mercury underneath that pointing up at both rules number 1 and number 2. Right? Rule number 3, just don't be a dick. There we go. We're really getting somewhere. We're really starting to move the needle. I'm not sure we're going to need 10 commandments at the rate we're going at. I feel like we've locked it up with the first 3, to be totally honest with you. Antism looks a little too much like anti-Semitism. I don't know. Seems like somebody misspelled or forgot some letters in anti-Semitism to get to antism. But listen, everybody in the live chat is overwhelmingly agreeing with me, and there's a reason why. It's how we all feel as people, right? You could tell somebody not to be an asshole or a dick because you don't want them to be a dick back to you. It's a very easy concept to master. And I feel like most people feel that way. And I feel like most people feel that way no matter what your age is, no matter what part of the world you grew up in, no matter what religion you partake in. You know, I poke fun at religious people. I say, oh, you're a made up person or you're whatever thing. I goof around about that all the time because it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me if it's Jesus or Moses or Buddha or fucking Tom Cruise. It doesn't make a difference. Don't be a dick. Be nice to people. But there's a big part of Christianity and Catholicism that's basically like, well, this is the way it is. Don't do this thing. Don't do that thing. You know, you can't have an abortion ever. It's like, does anybody really love abortions? No. But any logical person can feel like there are definitely some instances and cases where they're necessary. Also, you know, women have a right to choose what they do with their own bodies just as much as men do. You know, you run out there and get vasectomies and this and that, and you know, but they act like, well, you're just murdering babies. You know, it's like, I mean, come on, you know, let's be honest. Again, I'm not one for, you know, again, nobody loves abortion. I'm not up here waving an abortion flag. But shit, you know, the stuff occurs in life. You can't control things, and I'm not going to run down the reasons of why, in particular for abortion. Everybody knows the fucking reasons why. But this whole thing of like, I'm gonna play a clip from this speech. I'll play you the clip that's getting the most attention. But this guy, I mean, there's one clip that's getting a lot of attention. There's a second one that's getting some attention. But I watched his entire speech because that's kind of like what I like to do is be involved and know what's going on before we start talking about things on the air here. And I don't offend easily, and I'm not offended. I'm shocked, I guess would be the word. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that a person can stand up in front of a huge crowd of people and say something and be happy with it, proud of it, receive applause for it, and it be so misguided. I mean, everybody has their right to a point of view, but this is just fucking crazy and a little scary and downright weird and bizarre. All right, here's Harrison Butker, and this is direct from his Benedictine College address. This is the one that's grabbing all the big headlines today.
For the ladies present today, congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you have achieved to this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation. I'm beyond blessed with the many talents God has given me, but it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school would convert to the faith, become my wife, and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker.
The dude got a standing ovation. No, not standing, I shouldn't say that, but he got an applause break on telling a room full of people, a lot of whom are graduates. Ladies, you've been told the biggest diabolical lie. And although you might be looking forward to a career and getting promoted and titles and all that, let's be honest. The kitchen is really where it's really where you want to be. That's really where, dude, that's kind of what you want. You know, I mean, you know, independence is nice and freedom is great and everything, but honestly, Daddy's getting hungry. Let's get a casserole going. You know, why don't you go where you belong, in the kitchen? Let's go shoot out some kids and, you know, there's so many layers to it. There's so many layers to it. Now, I want to start by saying this, because I believe this is important. If you're a woman and you've chosen a life of being a mother, being a homemaker, there is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Look at Caitlin. I want to be a trad wife. This is a trend. Trad wife, traditional wife. Nothing wrong with being a traditional wife whatsoever. There's plenty of women that stay home, raise the kids, do the dishes, laundry, cook, clean, do the whole 9 yards. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it. There is, however, something wrong with telling those people you've been lied to by wanting to have a career, and let's all be honest, just go and be a home. Like, you know what I'm saying? Telling that to a room of people. I don't know how much Benedictine College makes. And this is the other part. This is so surprising to me. You're a parent. You just shelled out tens of thousands of dollars to get your kid a degree. Now some fucking asshole is on stage going, hey, your daughter should really go into the kitchen. I'd have fucking rushed the stage and punched the shit out of this guy. I would have done it. I would have been like, what did I just spend all this fucking money for? What was the whole point? He's literally sitting there in a room full of people that are probably in debt, probably just shelled out like 30 grand, telling them, hey, good luck. You just raised a house. I would have fucking strangled the shit out of this guy. He would have never made it to the parking lot. He would have never made it to the parking lot. I would have left in handcuffs. I would have done it. I just would have done it. You know, again, you want to stay home, raise the kids, do all that. It's fine. It's fine. But the way listen, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to raise the kids. It could be the dude. Don't tell Harrison this. It could be the guy. There ain't nothing wrong with the guy staying home, raising the kids, cleaning the kitchen, folding the laundry. There's nothing wrong with that. Let me tell you something. If you live in this day and age, if you live in a household where one person can stay home and tend to the kids and all that shit while the other person goes out and works, congratulations to you, man. You figured out something, because most people I know, both people work. You know, both people work for sure. So that's, I mean, Paul with a good point here. He's saying how millions of Americans think and the coastal elite doesn't get it. Am I coastal elite? I do live near the coast. I am very close to the beach right now. Nobody has ever called me coastal elite in my life, though. That would be an honor. That would be an honor. That's mislabeling, but Paul, also a good point. Religious school. How is this shocking? The applause thing is less shocking. But even with it being a religious school, I still have a hard time, again, like I've been to commencements. I couldn't imagine telling a room full of people that just shelled out all this money, congratulations on wasting your money. Think about all the parents. I couldn't imagine saying to a room full of people, hey, half of you just wasted 4 years of your life. And if you think I'm saying anything wrong, no, everybody else is lying to you. No, everybody has been telling women that they can go out and have a career because for the prior 1 million years, outside of the last 30 or 40 years, they've been telling women, you can't. That's not a lie. That's a correction. We tell little girls now, you could grow up and be whatever you want to be because just 2 generations ago, they didn't tell little girls that. And it fucked up a lot of women. That's not a lie. There's no... Am I crazy? Am I crazy? This guy is going, oh, it's a big lie. It's a diabolical lie. Don't worry, ladies. I'm here to save you from the big lie from all those coastal elites telling you that you can go have a career. This is what's going to be more fulfilling. How the fuck do you know? Who the fuck are you? Seriously, who the fuck are you? You know what all the women are thinking in the room? You mindless piece of shit. The day a book can form my thoughts this much, somebody put a bullet in my fucking head. Honestly, just fucking kill me because I'm just a robot. I'm a mindless idiot robot. This attitude drives me up a fucking wall. It's not like this diabolical lie was pulled out of our ass and from nowhere. No. And when my mother grew up, she went the biggest caviar dream, the biggest career move was to be a typist. My grandmother and grandfather told my mother, go be a typist. Oh, you want to work? How wonderful. Go be a fucking typist. Go type up things that men say. That was it. That was the highest she could be, is a typist. Now, I don't know anybody who wants to be told you can't do it. It can't be done. I don't know if it's the Sicilian in me. That fucking pisses me off. Don't fucking tell me I can't do it. Don't tell me this is the highest I could go. Absolutely not. I don't give a fuck who you think you are or what your beliefs are. You can go right and scratch your own ass. Because nobody's going to tell my fucking daughter they can't do it. Same with my son. Ain't going to fucking happen. Not on my watch. Absolutely not on my watch. Paul's just revving my engines up. This is why I love Paul. This is not a negative sentiment, but Paul knows how to push ants buttons. And I totally agree, but he was chosen to speak for his views. Paul is 1,000,000% right. This guy, now, hopefully none of you ever heard of Harrison Butker before today. If you're an NFL fan, you probably heard of him a little bit because he's the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. But apparently he's had these views and has made them known for quite some time. So Paul's right. They chose him because he speaks this way. That's even more scary. That's scary. Let's get this asshole in to talk to our students. Holy shit. I mean, How could you not feel like you failed as a person, knowing that these people are out there and exist? A university, a full-on college, would invite somebody like this because of the way they feel and be happy. And the people in the crowd would applaud. You know what a rube is? Do you know what a rube is? It's a sucker. You know, like a rube. Growing up in New York, you never wanted to be the rube, the boob, the idiot, the sucker. You know, you never wanted to be that. And I look at this group of people and I go, what a bunch of suckers. What a bunch of suckers. I wish Cuddles was around. I mean, the rage in I am purposely not looking up the price, the cost for the Benedictine college. Because if I paid a shit ton of money, I pay taxes right now. My kids go to public school. I've flown off the handle a couple of times for some of the things that have happened in that fucking school. And I'm paying nowhere near a college tuition. Nowhere near. And they're happy to hear it. Oh, we're a bunch of fucking idiots. We just paid for our daughter to go to school. And she should be just at home raising kids. She should. This guy's good. I'm an idiot. This guy's wonderful. He's so intelligent. I couldn't be fucking... Let's give him more money. Let's give him some money. Fucking idiots. I wouldn't applaud, even if I felt this way, I wouldn't applaud for it out of principle that I just paid all this fucking money. You know? Yeah. He goes on to say, and this guy, man, he's very, very cunning. He's very, very cunning. And just the way you approach it and say, the biggest diabolical lies have been told to you. Like, you're gaslighting this whole fucking crowd. You're gaslighting. I'm here to help you. This lie is being told. Poor unfortunate victims, women. You little victims. Go into the kitchen. Make some dinner. You know? Now listen, I'm sure they're excited about marriage and children. Who wouldn't be? We all get pulled into that little cult, right? I used to be excited. The thought of having kids. Now I'm 8 years into it. Not excited at all. Now my excitement comes from when they go to sleep. That's when that's the only time I get excited. Is when we put them to bed. And I just sit in silence with Cuddles. We just sit there and just quiet. We just hear nothingness and just go, ah. The other day, I swear, we had stacked a bunch of stuff in the kitchen. We're sitting there. We're just kind of like watching TV, nodding off. The stuff falls in the kitchen. I literally, stop hitting your sister. I snapped out of a dream. I was just, stop hitting your sister. I didn't even know. I just heard something and just had a snap reaction to it. It was just all the stuff falling over. It wasn't, I'm telling you, pray for me. Pray for parents everywhere. Not if you're Roman Catholic. If you're Roman Catholic, I don't need your prayers right now. I'm upset with you people. Anyway, Butker, he's very, very careful about what he says. You know, very, very careful about what he says. He said earlier in his speech, he was very critical of COVID. Very, very critical of COVID and how it was handled and everything else, which I'm not going to rehash. I've already told you my feelings on that. A lot of it is Monday morning quarterbacking. Look, it's very easy to stand here in 2024 and be like, everybody fucked everything up back then. Like, back then, we were all there and in it. Nobody knew shit. Nobody was making the right call anywhere. So don't give me the Monday morning quarterback bullshit of, I knew from the beginning. No, you didn't. Everybody was fucking terrified those first 4 weeks. So shut the fuck up. But besides that, he goes on to say, I want to get the right, I wrote it down here. Okay, here we go. He was talking about, this is what he said, this is an actual quote, the deadly sin sort of pride that has a month dedicated to it, which was a reference to Pride Month. He was talking about something, and he goes like the deadly sin sort of pride that has a month dedicated to it. So take on the gays too. Well, why not take on? Yeah, women belong in the kitchen, and don't even get me started on the gays. You know, I mean, what this is? It's a quote. It's at the beginning. I would go back and I can't remember where it was now because I accidentally deleted the timestamp. I'm sorry, but he said it is a quote: "Deadly sin, sort of pride that has a month dedicated to it." I mean, first of all, there's a taco month, so I assume he's not talking about that. There's I would assume it's Gay Pride Month is what he's talking about. Unless he's talking about Black History Month. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. He could be talking about that. I mean, this guy just wants to go back to the 50s. Don't you think? He's like, you know what else would be a good idea? Whites only fountains. Am I right, people? Let's hear it. I was like, pretty good. That would be good. One woman's like, that's not a good idea. Shh, go back to the kitchen, lady. This guy's making some sense. He's finally starting to talk a little bit here. And it's fucking crazy. It's absolutely batshit fucking crazy to talk about. Like, again, this is the other thing that drives me up a fucking wall. Sit around and act like, and this is a big thing. Listen, my first big riff with Catholicism was this, because I have several gay people in my life, and now I have to sit there and disown them, feel differently towards them. You know, there's been several people in my life I didn't know were gay. Then I find out they were gay. Now what I'm supposed to do is shame them because it's written in a book somewhere. I mean, I don't know how people disown their own children over being gay and shit like that. I believe it happens. These are not people I want to share oxygen with. And he stood up there, and like that alone would be enough for me to walk out of the room. You know? And he's just up there. He's up there playing the hits, man. He's fucking playing the hits. And these people stood up and applauded. There was massive amounts of applause. And again, listen, maybe they missed it. Maybe because again, there's nothing wrong with being a homemaker. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with staying at home and having 400 babies. It's fine. If that's how you want to live your life, it's fine. If you want to be a woman who supports her husband and goes to work, cleans the house, cooks the dinners, raises the kids, does all that shit, great. Good for you. You should be proud of what you do. Look, I make no bones about it. Cuddles raises our children way more than I do. She is the far best. She is handling 99% of the parental duties. She's amazing. She's amazing. And I think a lot of relationships need that, but it doesn't have to get pinned down on the woman. Am I wrong? Am I crazy? It could be the guy. It could be the man. It could be the man if both parents are men. Ooh, shame. Shame on the gays. This fucking guy. I mean, I can't even wait to ask him how he feels about Jewish people. I don't know. I can't. Tell me your thoughts on the Jewish people, Harrison. I would love to have this guy. I'd be like, Harrison, Jews, comment. Just give him the mic. Let him go run and run it back into the. And this guy's a kicker. He's a kicker. Look, it's one thing if you're the quarterback, all right? You have to have a modicum of talent to be the quarterback or the wide receiver. But this is the kicker. This is the dumbest guy on the team, right? Am I right? If this were a band, he'd be the drummer. And they're all like, let's get. Oh, he's good. Oh, I like this guy. Big Jew. Big. Also, every time I say Butker, it makes me think of that episode of The Office where Jim is doing something with Michael, and he calls as a person. He pretends to be William M. Butlicker. Do you remember? So, okay, Mr. Butlicker. Does anybody, is it William M? I don't know why I think it's William M. Butlicker, but that's the name he gives. He's like, my family built this country, damn it. Somebody who's an Office fan, please confirm or deny the William M. Butlicker part. I know Butlicker was the name. Every time I hear Butker, I get that. Do you remember Jim in the office when he's doing the phone call and he calls himself Butlicker? Was it William Butlicker? Our prices have never been lower, Butlicker. All right. Enough fooling around. I can't stand this guy. He had the whole speech was one thing after the next. Oh, and then later in this speech, he goes, a society can only work when men are leading. Men need to be in charge. Men need to take their place in society and lead while the women go back, make the babies and the pot pies. I mean, and the whole fucking room is eating everything up that this guy has to say. He fucking said men have to lead. I think I was going to play more, but oh, that's right. We stopped at the applause break. I forgot. Listen to the clapping.
And embrace one of the most important titles of all.
By the way, he broke down when he was talking about his wife. What a fucking pussy. Am I right? Anyway, if Jay Sams was here, he'd be ripping into this fucking. If I played just the part where he's crying over his wife, Jay Sams would be like, "Who's this liberal pussy?" Am I wrong? You guys know Jay Sams, right? She would definitely say that shit.
Homemaker.
Listen to that applause. It's unbelievable. The gays are bad, are they not, people? Women should be in the kitchen. Am I wrong? No. Yeah. I know this is a commencement speech and all, but what do you tell a woman with two black eyes? Nothing. You already told her twice. Am I right, people? Huh? Am I good? Is it good? Is it good? This guy's a bad fucking stereotype for old-timey jokes, and they're up there. Look at how fucking happy he is. Look at the pride on his face. Holy shit. I've never wanted to watch a human being stub his toe more than this motherfucker. And this is what scares me, is that, to Paul's point before, he can be invited for these beliefs and then praised for having them. Just sit there in a room full of people just all happy as all shit. You know?
She's the primary educator to our children. She's the one who ensures I never let football or my business become a distraction from that of a husband and father. She's the person that knows me best at my core, and it is through our marriage that, Lord willing, we will both attain salvation. I say all of this to you because I have seen it firsthand, how much happier
through our marriage to attain salvation. I'll tell you how to attain salvation. Stop being a dick. Stop doing what you're doing, which is being a dick.
Someone can be when they disregard the outside noise and move closer and closer to God's will in their life. Isabel's dream of having a career might not.
My dream is that people like this get to heaven and Jesus is standing there and he goes, "Why were you such a dick?" When they got up there and they go, "We followed every rule in the book." And then Jesus goes, "What about the one where I was like, just be nice to people? Why'd you keep ignoring that one?" "Well, I was nice to people." "What about the gay people?" "What about the gay people?" "Well, I didn't know it was in the, well, I don't know who wrote the fucking thing in the thing, but that's not what I was talking about. You could have, there was one rule that sort of overrid all the other rules." By the way, in the book of John and all that shit, those are all wonderful things. There were some quotes from me, and I believe one of them was be nice to other people. which in today's terms is translated into don't be a dick. Fucking dick.
Have come true. But if you asked her today if she has any regrets on her decision, she would laugh out loud without hesitation and say, heck no.
Ugh. Can I tell you something else who annoys me? People who say heck. Just say shit no. Or hell yeah. Heck no. No cussing here, right? HE double hockey sticks. I hope you trip over a hockey stick and get a concussion. Okay? That's what I fucking hope for. Just people fucking drive me crazy. And listen, hey, if you got a college degree and then you decided the professional world's not for me, I'm just going to go and raise some kids. Good. Know that there's nothing wrong with that. But there's something wrong with somebody up there telling you that don't believe the lie of going to get a career because being a baby maker is about all you can do well, you know, or it's what you're meant to do because God wants it. Fucking asshole.
As a man who gets a lot of praise and has been given a platform to speak to audiences like this one today, I pray that I always use my voice for God and not for myself. Everything I am saying to you is not from a place of wisdom, but rather a place of experience. I am hopeful that these words will be seen as
right about the not wisdom part. I'll tell you that right now, right? Am I right, people? Heck yeah. Give me a heck yeah in the comments if you believe me.
those from a man not much older than you who feels it is imperative that this class, this generation, and this time in our society must stop pretending that the things we see around us are normal. Heterodox ideas abound even within Catholic circles. For let's be honest, there is nothing good about playing God with having children, whether that be your ideal number or the perfect time to conceive. No matter how you spin it, there is nothing natural about Catholic birth control. It is only in the past few years that I have grown encouraged to speak more boldly and directly, because as I mentioned earlier, I have leaned into my vocation as a husband and father, and as a man.
A lot of strong words there, husband, father, man. What's Catholic birth control? What is that? I don't know what he's talking about there. I'm scared. I don't know what he's talking about though.
To the gentleman here today, part of what plagues our society is this lie that has been told to you that men are not necessary in the home or in our communities. As men, we set the tone of the culture. And when that is absent, disorder, dysfunction, and chaos set in. This absence of men in the home is what plays a...
As men, we set the tone of the culture, and when we don't, it's chaos. The fuck are you talking about? All right, I can't do it anymore. This guy's an asshole. I can't do it. This fucking guy. By the way, they asked the Kansas City Chiefs what they thought about the commencement address, and they declined to comment. If I'm the Kansas, and again, I'm not a cancel culture guy. I fucking hate that I have to say this. It's like, don't believe people should lose their job or be canceled for shit. But if I'm the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs today, I go, thanks a lot, Butker, but we're going to have to show you the door. Because guess what? There's a lot of other people that could kick the fucking ball and make field goals, okay? It's not a big skill. You're the fucking drummer of the football team. We'll just find another one. Most people won't even miss you. And that's it. Send this guy fucking packing. I believe this guy has a right to say whatever he feels. I'm fucking terrified by it, and I hope he changes his mindset. But I believe he has a right to say whatever he feels. This is America after all. But I would not want to employ a person who felt this way. I really, really wouldn't. And I look down on the Kansas City Chiefs for doing just that. I really, really do. But I'm a Giants fan. I don't have much ground to stand on there. All right, this cancer cure. Let's talk about this really quick. Professor Richard Scollier. This is a really interesting thing. This guy is from Australia. So listen up, Aussie Annie. You guys are curing cancer over there. It's fucking craziness. He's a professor at the University of Sydney. I don't know if they're going to have Butker over there for a commencement speech anytime soon. But he says he's cancer-free thanks to a first-of-its-kind treatment that he helped to develop. He revealed just a day ago that the incurable stage 4 glioblastoma discovered in his head had not recurred after receiving the heartbreaking diagnosis last June. He said in an X post, I had a brain MRI scan last Thursday looking for recurrent glioblastoma. I found out yesterday that there is still no sign of the recurrence. I couldn't be happier. In May of 2023, he was traveling through Europe, doing medical conferences, speaking at them, telling women they should be at home in the kitchen, when he suffered a seizure in Poland. He flew back to Australia, where he underwent an MRI that revealed he had the glioblastoma. If I'm mispronouncing that, please forgive me. I'm not good at speaking. It's an aggressive and terminal form of brain cancer, with his subtype being classified as so aggressive most patients don't live longer than a year. The pathologist, who is a director at the Melanoma Institute Australia, teamed up with his co-director, Georgina Long, to develop a treatment plan to help fight the deadly disease. The duo's decade-long immunotherapy research at the Melanoma Institute dramatically increased the outcome for advanced melanoma patients, which led to the pair to be jointly named 2024 NSW Australians of the Year. Taking the information discovered during research of immunotherapy, or using the body's immune system to attack cancer cells, Long and her team came up with the best results to help Scolier's fight. To use a combination of drugs before surgery, the world's first of its kind. After consulting experts, Professor Long decided on a combination of immunotherapy, which would be delivered before and after Scolier's surgery to remove the tumor. Along with the combo immunotherapy, Scolier was first to be given a vaccine tailored to specifically to his tumor's characteristics, which would help boost the cancer detecting powers of the drugs that they were giving him. He also received 6 weeks of radiotherapy after surgery. His treatment didn't begin smoothly. He had suffered some seizures. He had liver issues. He even got pneumonia over the first few months, but has since recovered from all those things and returned to his daily routine of jogging a brisk 9.3 miles a day. I try and jog 9.3 miles a decade, and I'm falling short on that. He told the BBC, "I'm the best I have felt for a long time." He said for yonks. Aussie Annie, can you confirm? Does that mean a long time? It certainly doesn't mean that my brain cancer is cured, but it's nice just to know that it hasn't come back yet. So I've still got some more time to enjoy life with my wife, Katie, and my 3 wonderful kids. He's been documenting his medical journey on Twitter, or X. You can search him out by Googling his name. It's, again, Professor Richard Scolyer, Scolyer, if you want to look it out. I also like how he says, "I'm not cured, it just hasn't come back yet." It's kind of a common way that cancer patients handle their cancer diagnosis. So good for him for being so optimistic on it. I guess it's kind of like taboo to say I'm cured, because they all know that recurrence is definitely something that can reoccur. This is the saddest thing ever. 10-year-old boy in Indiana took his own life after being bullied relentlessly at school, according to his family. Sammy Teusch, 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 the 4th grader at Greenfield Intermediate School, was bullied right up until the night that he died by suicide on May 5th, just 10 days ago, according to his family. Hearing his father talk about finding his son in the room is just absolutely terrorizing and heartbreaking. The reason why I bring up the story is because his family said that they reported it to the school at least 20 times in one single year. That's really bad. By the way, Oceanic confirms yonks are years. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's really bad. 20 times in 1 year. I bring it up because I've never seen anything like this in my particular school district, but I see blatant, and I believe, look, teachers everywhere, principals, I think they're good people trying to do good work. But there's something really wrong when there's an overwhelming sense of something happening. And I've seen this in little tiny itty bitty, things of where like everybody feels a certain way. Why can't the school just fucking get it together? To be reporting instances of bullying over 20 times and them not have to do anything with it is heartbreaking. By the way, this fucking kid is the cutest fucking kid you've ever seen. Just adorable, crooked kid teeth, big fucking smile on his face, little blonde kid, wears glasses. I mean, just absolutely phenomenally adorable. It's so fucking heartbreaking to hear something like this. any kids out there or any adults too, don't kill yourself. There's a much better way. As shitty as this planet could be, it beats the alternative. I guarantee you that. So that's a heartbreaking story. I just, and like I read some of the details on it. People were threatening to beat him up, like kids sending him messages. I'm going to beat you up tomorrow. I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to beat you. Like, I mean, you got to take that shit more seriously. Look, kids are going to be kids and kids are going to fuck around with each other and shit like that. But when you have social media posts, when there's just documented evidence, go fucking do something about it. Maybe it's time to fucking be a little harder on some of these kids that are assholes. I was talking to a kid on my son's baseball team, his dad. We were bullshitting the other day at the game, and we were talking to each other. Our kids are in the 3rd grade now, and we were talking about how we're getting into the point in Little League baseball where like we play Little League baseball, but then there's also like travel baseball, which is a bit more serious. So in our Little League, we don't have as many teams as we used to when they were playing like T-ball and shit, because kids get weeded out. There's really good kids, there's not so good kids. All the kids on the travel team are really, really good. Like my son's team, you could tell the difference. There's kids that are on the travel team, they're excellent. There's kids that are not on the travel team, they're really not as good. Some of them are, some of them really aren't. My son's not on the travel team, by the way, in case you're curious. And you look at, and it's obvious, like when they're playing the game, like the kids who are on the travel team know when it's time to steal. They understand what a hitter's counter. They get the little nuances of the game and they're into it. And I was trying to tell my son this the other day, because he doesn't take things too seriously. Baseball is not his first love. He loves to do it because he's hanging out with his buddies. He's like a hockey guy. He's not really into baseball, but we ask him every year, and every year he wants to go back because he likes to socialize with the kids. But I said to him, I go, look, at some point you gotta take this serious, because the kids who are taking it serious aren't gonna like what you're doing, and then they're gonna start taking it out on you. I said, that's what a team is. A team is everybody moving in one direction. And if you're not gonna go in that direction, it's gonna be hard to be on the team. And he doesn't, I don't know if he really gets that, but his dad and I were talking about it, and we overwhelmingly came to the same conclusion. And I don't know if this is everywhere, or if this is my son's particular generation, or if this is the area that I live in. I don't know what it is, but we said to each other in 3rd grade, like, they're awfully supportive of one another. Like my son's just not swinging the bat right now. He told me the other day, Dad, I can get on base by not swinging the bat. Most of these kids are getting walked. Why would I swing the bat? And I'm like, because it's fun. You're supposed to hit the ball. I can't argue with the logic. You can still get on base if you get walked and whatever. But, I'm like, some of the kids and his coach, everybody's getting a little frustrated with him. They're like, you got to swing. Because he can hit, by the way. That's the most frustrating part about all this. He can hit. I took him to the batting cages over the weekend just to make sure he hadn't lost it. Kids hitting the ball all over the place. I'm like, I don't know why you're not swinging in the game. His coach had told me that there's a bit of intimidation because they get there and they see the travel kids and they immediately know, whether they realize it or not, subconsciously they know they're not as good as them. So they kind of lock up a little bit. The coach was like, I've seen this before. But anyway, I bring it all up because the dad and I were talking, and we were amazed by how supportive the kids were to each other. The kids that were really good were supportive of the kids that were not good. They were like, swing the bat. You could do it. Like, you can get a hit here. We believe, we believe the same shit. Like, we believe in you, and it's not just my son. There's other kids not as good, not even as good as my kid, but they're like, you could do it. Kids that are throwing pitching and they're hitting other kids and feeling horrible about it. Kids that when they're up to bat, they're getting hit and scared to go back. All that kind of stuff is happening. And the kids who can handle it really well and who are excelling are actually trying to lift up the other kids. And it is such a beautiful thing. And him and I were talking about how when we were young, like it was maybe kindergarten, maybe 1st grade. But once you got out of 1st grade, that was it. The gloves were off. People were out to get you. And that doesn't seem to be the case with most kids in school nowadays. Now unfortunately, this kid was 10, so it's a bit different. And I said that, maybe we hit it in 1st grade when we were coming up. I think they're going to hit it eventually. Like I don't think 2 years from now you could be the kid who doesn't know what's going on the baseball team and everybody tolerate it when you start costing them games. So maybe that's delayed a little bit, but it's amazing. Like you walk through the schools and everything, and these kids are supportive of one another. They really, really are. It's very, very strange. I don't know if it's like because these kids, went through COVID and that was, awful. And I don't know what it is, but I've noticed it, and I've heard other parents talking about it too. It's like strange how that's happening. So anyway, shoot me a comment if your kid is around that first, second, third grade age, and they're seeing a lot of support amongst the other children, because it's pretty surprising how much support there is out there. Eric Adams, there's a shortage of lifeguards. He goes, maybe we can have some of the immigrants coming into the country be lifeguards. They're good at swimming anyway. You can't make this stuff up. That's not a lie. That's not hyperbole. That's what he said. Quote, they're excellent swimmers, end quote. I'm going to move on to the next story because we're running late. And I don't think we need to do any more material. That one just kind of speaks for itself, does it not? It's really just kind of out there on its own. Going back to the vibes of Harrison Butker, there's a young lady that is named Valentina Gomez, and she's running for the Secretary of State of Missouri. Again, I don't like to paint a bad picture, but if you really do kind of pull out and take a look at the world, we had a Jewish guy getting walked out on during his commencement speech because he was Jewish and had nothing to do with the Palestinian and Israeli conflict going on other than being Jewish. They're walking out on him. Harrison Butker is getting applause. And here's this young lady who's running for Secretary of State of Missouri. And she says, in America, you can be anything you want, so don't be weak and gay. Come on, Aunt. Stop being a dick. There's no way she said that. There's no way anybody running for office would say, don't be weak or gay. That's just not something that is said in this day and age. Stop making shit up, you crazy liberal bastard. Oh, yeah?
In America, you can be anything you want. Don't be weak and gay. Stay hard. All right, the show goes on all night.
In America, you can be anything you want. Don't be weak or gay. Stay fucking hard. People, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Christine Colson, oh my God. I know. Paul, again, that's America. See, this, Paul, makes me feel like I owe you and Frank an apology. I really do. I really do, because I really, in my heart of hearts, I watch cancel culture and I go, you got to calm down. Just let people be people. They'll be fine. And then don't be weak or gay. Stay hard. I mean, again, I'll never be on the side of cancel culture. But, however, Valentina Gomez, she put this out. She put this out. This is the thing. This isn't made up. It ain't a prank. Maybe it is a prank and we just all don't know about it yet. But she's proud of this. That's what's amazing to me. They're proud. They are proud. How could you be proud? Listen, there's a lot about me that I don't love and that I'm ashamed about. Mostly the amount of Oreos I can consume in one sitting. I don't go ahead and you don't see me up there just Oreos with a fucking rifle going, America, I know what the worst parts of me are, and I don't put them in my campaign videos. I didn't think that was a difficult thing to do. Clearly, I'm wrong. I don't know. Robin, she broke rule number 1. Neil just broke one of the 10 dick commandments. Holy shit. Zoso, is she Harrison Butker's wife? Holy shit. Don't be so weak and gay. Oh my God. Now, to defend myself a little, and I've said this a bunch of times, and I'll stand behind this too. I believe a comedian should be able to go on stage and joke about whatever they'd like. I have no problem with a comedian joking about homosexuality. None whatsoever. Those are jokes. There's room for jokes, humor, entertainment. There's a place for that. If a comedian was on stage and he was like, don't be weak and gay and blah, 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 and it was part of a punchline, even if the comedian wasn't gay, I would be fine with it. As long as it's a joke, right? When a person stands up there with a little microphone on a stage in a poorly lit room with a little spotlight and always a brick behind them for some reason, leeway, a little bit of leeway. And I stand behind all of that. But when somebody who is striving for a leadership position uses a line from a punchline or a phrase like don't be weak and gay, I gotta fucking shake my head. I mean, that same courtesy I'd like to extend to comedians everywhere does not get extended to people running for office. My only hope is that she stumbles upon a unevenly paved street during one of these runs, takes a tumble, and smashes that pretty little face of hers right into the concrete and has a pretty bad bruising.
In America, you can be anything you want. Just don't do what you gay. Stay up the car.
Miss Justice. Well, I'm not voting for her. You just lost Miss Justice's vote. See what happens? So I wonder if she has that on a t-shirt. I feel like we should put it on a t-shirt. We should put weak and gay on a t-shirt. We should just put weak and gay on a t-shirt and just wear it everywhere with pride. I would love nothing more than to look at a news clip of her rally and see a bunch of people just wearing shirts like this, just plain writing that just says weak and gay. And they're just all standing there watching her. Oh, shit. That would be fucking great. That would really, really be great. Answer's ready to whip ass tonight. I don't choose these things. We don't choose these topics. These topics choose us. And it's kind of weird that this is happening. And I know a lot of people. I don't want to give Donald Trump the credit of ushering in this era. I will say he's capitalized on it. I will say he's ridden the wave. I will say he's sort of become that de facto leader of anti-cancel culture, whatever you want to call this. I feel like it was happening before he started, but it has really become a big wave. And I don't know if it's him, combination of him and the internet. Because I believe the internet has a lot to do with this. I really do. Like, I don't even want to give Trump the credit for this. You know what I'm saying? I feel, although I'm not being ignorant to the fact that he's played a part in it, but it's very strange as the internet has evolved. This is what I believe in, and I have a right to believe in that. It's like, you can kind of know? No? You can say whatever you want. I believe in that in America. But I just feel like a lot of people are a little lost, and we need to really fall behind the philosophy of stop being such a dick. Just stop being such a dick. I don't want to make this a political thing. That's why I don't really love talking about it in this particular sense, because I feel as much as this has to do with politics and politics plays a part in it, I feel like this is a cultural thing. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a cultural thing because I feel like if it wasn't Trump, it'd be somebody else. And I feel like a lot of, by the way, I feel like podcasting, the rise of podcasting has a lot to do with this. Joe Rogan and that other guy whose name escapes me right now, leader something. The guy who goes on Joe Rogan sometimes with the tie. Who wears a tie while podcasting? That's not right. That's not what this was meant to be. Anyway, let's move on. We've got a few more things to get through. But I feel like we're starting to hit a peak or a pinnacle of just this. This is what I believe in, and I don't give a fuck how wrong it might be, where I really feel like the approach should be, let me listen to the other side. Listen, even when there's an outrageous thing, like even the Butker guy, right? I see the headlines and I approach it like, let me hear what he has to say. Let me listen. Let me not judge. I feel like a lot more people need to feel that way. Mostly Butker, right? And what's her name over here? I forgot her name already. Valentina. They should have that same kind of attitude. If you're a liberal type of a person, you should still kind of have that attitude. Let me listen to what you have to say. There's nothing wrong with listening. There's nothing wrong with watching Butker's speech and going, no, he's a dick. That's fine. You should be open to those things. Again, because even Butker is skirting on the line of truth. There's nothing wrong with a woman deciding to stay at home and be at home. There's nothing wrong with that part. It's all the other context on there that made it wrong, So, any hoozles. Alex Jones. Yeah, well, Jordan Peterson. Thank you, Laura. Oh, bless your heart. Boy, you got... And Lex Friedman, that's the other guy. Those two dudes. Thank you. Fly NY, Laura L. Bless your hearts. You guys are the best. But yeah, Alex Jones. Rush Limbaugh used to be... Rush Limbaugh was the accepted right way. It was fine. The conservative voice, it was, liberals would listen to Rush and go, oh, okay, I disagree with it, but okay. At some point, we just flew right off the track and just went in the complete opposite direction. I don't understand what happened. Kudos to the National Football League for scoring another big deal. Netflix picks up three games. No, I'm sorry. The NFL announced the schedule, and 3 games are going to be on Thanksgiving. Giants are playing. Very exciting. Netflix is going to get at least 1 game on Christmas in 2025 and 2026 as a part of their exclusive 3-season agreement that they signed with the National Football League. It's going to stream 2 Christmas Day games this year. And then at least 1 game 2025, 2026. So that's the deal. It's the first time Netflix has licensed the rights to the NFL. We all know that the Black Friday game on Amazon was massive this past year. So I think we're going to see these streaming services start to take on some of these live TV properties, which I don't know where that leaves traditional broadcast television. It's just in nowhereness. I don't even know. That's pretty much all cable and regular broadcast TV had going for it was live sports, and now all these streaming platforms are taking it, or these companies are putting these live sports on their streaming services as opposed to regular TV. I'm telling you, I don't think we're going to see regular television anymore. It just doesn't make sense. It's not financially viable for any of these properties. It's crazy. They put a game on television and a game on Amazon, and everybody's watching it on Amazon. And I'm guilty of it too. I like just going to my little streamer and putting it on, Final story. We talked about this last episode. The portal's gotten out of control. People are flashing it, all this crazy stuff. Well, they turned the portal off for now. I don't know if they're planning on putting it back on. I know they put barricades around it. It's still off as of right now, I believe. But the young lady who went in front of the portal and flashed, who's really become a meme, she's an OnlyFans model. And she says, Ava Louise, that she has made $30,000 in the last 2 days off this scandal alone. Is that not insane? 30 grand in 2 days just for flashing them big hooties on the portal and getting all the publicity off of it. Which goes back to my whole thing. It's the internet, right? I mean, it's the internet. If it wasn't her, it would have been somebody else. And it's hard if you're in this game today of trying to make money and the easy way is the internet. It's hard not to be like, let me flash my big titties on that fucking screen. And, who cares if there's, kids or whatever, it's inappropriate, whatever. Maybe I'll get arrested. Who gives a shit? They can cash in 30 grand in 2 days. She's kind of proving that you can be an asshole and see a bit of a bump. And this is 2 days. I mean, she could, if she plays this right, she could turn it into a whole thing. We've all seen it before. Look at Tanya Harding. They're making movies about that lady. She is cashed in on knocking Nancy Kerrigan's knee into next week. Flash them man boobs. And I would jack me off. I would pull out my man boobies right now if I thought it could pull in $30. If I could just make 30, I'd show you all my big man hooties. But I don't think it would do it. In fact, I think we would lose subscribers. I think we would lose members and subscribers. I just would. 30K in 2 days. We're going to keep our eye on that one, by golly. I want to see what she's at the end of the year. Because, like I said, if she plays that right, she could just, she could play her way into a cool millie by the end of this year if she keeps that whole fucking train going. She's got to find other portal-like objects and flash them now. Like, that's got to be her thing. All she needs is like an SNL spoof or something like that, and she is on Easy Street. She is on Easy Street. Could you, Jack, man boob chat, $2? Thanks, buddy. What? Oh, almost. What? No. Okay. Paul, like there's too many things here. Paul, Girthmaster portal play. Could you imagine if Girthmaster pulled out his huge wonker? I put his just big, thick unit on that fucking screen. Nobody would have been like, what's going on? Oh, the camera's out. Oh, no, it's Girthmaster. He's just whipping it out. It's just Girthmaster, everybody. It's fucking crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right, we'll keep our eye on the young lady here and see how much she pulls in. In the meantime, you guys have a wonderful Thursday. You know what? I will whip out my man boobies. I think I'll do it.
Show me potato salad. Maybe we should go now.
Go ahead.